Let's move on to AJ's Atlanta Falcons here. They have had their camp underway, and something that jumped off the page to me here is out of the 89 players on the field at Falcons camp, 49 of them are brand spanking new players, whether it be a rookie or a player coming in on a brand new contract, a prove it type of deal is what I've heard a lot of chatter from camp. It's a lot of players who are on prove it type of deals, like a Marcus Mariota, and Atlanta, Fox Sports Atlanta's Kelly Price reported that the buzzword around Falcons camp is competition. Now that obviously might seem ridiculous because that's what training camp is for. It's competition, but it's a little different at Falcons camp. And here's Marcus Mariota on how it's special.
I think for one, it creates an atmosphere when you're out at practice where guys understand that this might be their last opportunity or this might be the best opportunity they've gotten in a couple years. So the competition out of practice is at a high level. And when you're able to do that, it creates game-like situations and game-like scenarios that when this team gets out there and we start week one, I think guys will feel very comfortable with where they're at.
I feel like guys are playing for their lives here in Atlanta. That's what they're playing for their careers, including a Marcus Mariota. So AJ, what is the biggest competition you're watching for at Falcons camp?
Honestly, to an extent, most of the competition isn't what you think. It's not the sexy ones. It's not the exciting ones in most cases. And it's funny that it came to this because you always make me the offensive lineman guy. And honestly, those are the competitions that really matter at this point in time. And it sucks to say that because it doesn't really matter how it plays out. Our offensive line is still going to have a lot of problems. So the quick one I'll give you, and then I have a little other piece that I have for you, but the quick one I'll give you is the guy that everyone was pointing the fingers at last year, Jalen Mayfield, on the left side of the line. He's the guy that we are looking to see if he's going to step up. They wanted to point a lot to, well, he was young last year and he's learning the NFL and so on and so forth. Well, 5-6 days through training camp, he still hasn't progressed enough. Elijah Wilkerson has come in and has been taking a lot of the first team reps over a guy like that. And Elijah Wilkerson's a guy they look at who's quick off the line. He's got good power. He's agile enough for what they're looking to do, but he's also making the switch to guard. So he's also having to learn a couple things here, but that's the one that matters because to me, if Jalen Mayfield still comes out and ends up being that starter, you have to look at the rest of this line and really wonder if they've made any progress. Now, the one that I really care about to me, and it's not really even a competition, it's more just something to keep your eye on, and I've been consistent about this conversation, and that's the running back room and our new rookie, Tyler Algier. This is a guy that a lot of people have some high hopes for, including everybody in that Falcons organization, and it has to do with if or not he's going to be able to lighten the load for Cordero Patterson, a guy who last year took about 40% of the running snaps of the carries while also playing wide receiver. The other thing is that Tyler Algier is the type of guy that Arthur Smith likes. He's a powerful back. He doesn't shy away from contact. He's a guy that showed it in college, 1,600 yards last year, good for third in the nation, 23 touchdowns. But the big number is 1,800 yards after contact since 2020. It's a guy who's not going to shy away, but he's agile enough to go out and make the cuts and actually take off and run down the field. So I'm looking to see how fast he can kind of be brought into this offense, lighten the load as far as running back goes when it comes to Cordero Patterson, so they can use him a little bit more as those weapons on the outside, because that's what everyone talks about being devoid of. Outside of Kyle Pitts and Drake London, you're hoping that Bryan Edwards is going to be the guy who's good enough for Marcus Mariota. But if you can add a Cordero Patterson into that wide receiver room and just give another weapon in another way, some good things might end up happening. All right, cool. And so we move.
Yeah, man. I thought you looked like you were about to say something.
They're 2-15, bro. That's what they're going to be.
Oh my,
Vinny, I do want to bring it. You talked about competition. Let me give you a little insight of the Atlanta Falcons. Now, not that I'm an insider or anything, but I will be at training camp.
Oh my goodness,
coming up in the next week or so. That's you didn't even do it really justice. Arthur Smith stood up in front of the team. Arthur
Sorry,
Smith
I'm not.
And literally told each and every one of them, like, your job's on the line. Like, every single snap is a competition, and you could be first string, and tomorrow you could be sitting on the bench. And he told them that. And yes, that could be just coach speak. It could be training camp talk. But I think it just speaks to the youth that's on the Atlanta Falcons. You talked about the 49 players that are new to the team. They had no real I don't say structure. They didn't have any real like that foundational piece, right? the only foundational pieces they really have was Kyle Pitts. Like, that's the only name that stands out. Grady Jarrett obviously being there, Deion Jones, like those guys that have been there. But and then AJ Terrell. But outside of that, there really wasn't really foundational pieces there that can say, oh, this guy we know is going to be on the field. So I think that's what it speaks to the competition level the most, was just the level of intensity that they want to play within training camp. But it's not gonna, it'll be great for jobs. It's not gonna translate to anything in real football. I mean, they're not good enough.
Wow, what an asshole. What an asshole.
It's just like, I just speak the truth, man. We don't want to waste time on talking about like, well, they could be. No, the Falcons aren't good enough this year. They are in a rebuild. They are trying to get better.
I'm going to ask this question completely off doc, not even going to sugar. I've had this thought in my head, and I would love to interview an actual NFL player who has been through this, but you're the next closest thing, Aaron, because
I can do that for you when I'm at Falcons camp. Would you like me to ask?
I need you to do that for me. And it might be a dick question to ask, but ask it anyways. I want to know what it's like to be an NFL player that is on a shitty team, and what that mentality, like, obviously you're not going into the season thinking, oh, we're going to lose every game, but like, you have to be like, there's no way that you do not have the mental awareness of, okay, we're a rebuilding team, we're a young team, we might not win a lot of games, it's going to be tough, there's going to be some if not a lot of losses. How do you get yourself mentally prepared for that type of, like, obviously, like,
you played sports, were playing on a shitty hockey team, how did you get prepared?
Yeah, I'm naive and I hope for the best. That's what it is. There's no mental preparedness. But like, is that what it is? Is it just like that where it's like, okay, I'm just hoping for the best here? Like, what is their what is driving
your role? You understand your role. So everybody's role is different on the team, right? A Marcus Mariota's role is not just to be like, oh, I got to play my best to like, he's got to play his best to earn a job. He's got to play his best to lead his team, to show that he has leadership qualities. The NFL is different because every day you're playing for another job, regardless of what your team does. So the mindset isn't like, are we going to win a lot of games or are we going to lose a lot of games? What can I do to make our team better, to make myself stand out, to get me paid? Like, there's multiple facets of what I'm looking at. Yes, they're not oblivious to the fact that they're not going to win a lot of games. Do they have confidence? Yes, because you're not in the NFL unless you think you're the best damn walking the planet. Like, all those players think they're the best, and a collective group that think they're the best probably think they're going to be better than they are. So we say they're going to win 2 games. They probably think, hey, you know what? We got a chance at the playoffs. Like, let's get into the playoffs. That's their mindset. So every day they're going out with this mindset, like, we got to get better every day to get to the playoffs. Even though we don't feel like they can get there, their mindset is they can get there because they all think they're the best. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the NFL. So
yeah,
we don't have that. It's hard to really get into their minds, because to be a professional athlete, you are you are over the top. Even if you, I don't want to say even if you know it, but you've seen people talk about it like, I'm the best player in the world. And no, they're not the best player in the world. We know that.
Case Claypool.
But that mentality,
Canadian.
is why they're where they're at. So they can't ever lose that edge. And I think that's where you're going.
It was more of a question that I wanted to pose to someone who's out of the league, not someone who's in, like, so I want to know what that mindset is, even throughout the season after maybe you're 0-7. Like, what's keeping you motivated at those times? And hey, maybe maybe the Falcons and Falcons fans watching us, please, you can rip me all you want in the comments, but hey, maybe you'll win 5 games. I'm a Jaguars fan. We suck, so I'm used to this. So that's how. Yeah. Moving on to our final.
Can I ask you a question? If you make me research and get prepared for one more question in the doc that you don't ask me, I'm going to come through this show and I'm going to slap you silly.
I guess you didn't read. I guess you did not read.
I did read.
I guess you didn't.
Yeah.
I guess you didn't. What does it say? What does it say next to team by team camp storylines?
You can't say up in the air and then, so I'm not going to research it. I'm not going to be ready.
That's fine. That's fine, but don't get mad at me.
That one
do not get mad at me.
I'm going to come
on.
to this damn screen and I'm going to slap you silly.
Do not get mad at me for moving on, trying to get this shit rolling an hour in, and we have the Panthers left to talk about. Okay?
Oh, Panthers! Nobody cares.
Yeah, we're talking Oreos of the Panthers.
Burger.
We're talking Oreos of the Panthers, and I want to get to it. Okay, but you know what? Just for you.
No, I didn't research that one.
You didn't research which one?
I don't know. Whatever you're going to ask me because you keep changing shit.
It was going to be the one that you were bitching and moaning about that you wanted to get into. So we're going to get into. Aaron, here, we're going to do it just the way you like it. Solo, you're on the pedestal. Here you go, buddy. Aaron, for your question to you, the Atlanta Falcons, for 500 points here, what Falcons player has the most to prove this year?
Great question, Vinny. Matter of fact, all the research that I did, I have an answer for you.
Great.
I do. I'm going to go to the back end.
Hopefully it's a good one.
Shut up and let me talk.
You got it?
AJ Terrell's on one side.
Okay,
Casey Hayward's on the other side. Since the days of the safeties that went to the Dallas Cowboys and Keanu Neal and those boys over there, they really haven't had a safety. And we've talked about the safeties that they've been needing to find. To me, it's Richie Grant. And Richie Grant is he wasn't the first rookie defensive back to struggle. Let's be clear about that. Dean Pease didn't like him. He decided to go with the more veteran last season. He was drafted to play safety, but played a lot more in the nickel in 2021. Jerron Harmon came in. I think this year you're going to see a jump from Richie Grant. I think he has the most to prove. He's going to have to earn his trust and earn his spot to get on the field in 2022. But I do think that Richie Grant is the guy with the most pressure or has the most to prove as far as draft status, making a leap from year 2 to year 3. I think it's Richie Grant.
Not a bad pick. Not at all. And he's been there. They're enjoying what they've been seeing from him. He has improved. He has developed. We don't, again, just like Michael Thomas said, until he's on the field playing games, we don't know how it's going to translate. But there's been a lot of good chatter about Richie Grant and Jalen Hawkins as well. Having that veteran Casey Hayward in the building has seemed to help some of these younger guys as far as learning what to do, and then their talent has to do the rest. So I like that pick a lot.
I do have a quote from their defensive coordinator talking about how you were talking about Richie Grant and the defense. You brought up Grady Jarrett earlier, AJ Terrell. They got a lot of potential on defense for the Atlanta Falcons. Their defensive coordinator came out and said, we've been in the top 10 one time out of the last 20 years. That bullshit is over. I'm tired of this crap. We're going to change the culture of this defense around this freaking place. It's coach speak.
Are they getting into the top 10 this year?
No.
It was this year.
Not a chance.
I didn't say this year.
but that's the type of attitude that I like to see. We talked on the other shows where it's like, oh, I love all these coaches' attitudes towards things. That's an attitude that I like to. I will get around and I will.
That was their defensive coordinator. That was Pease.
Yeah.
I don't know about not a chance, and I'm not saying because it's the Falcons. I'm just saying. I mean, we've seen teams go from shit to.
You're saying there's a chance the
they
Falcons
don't have
get
a
to the top 10?
chance
No, there's a chance.
in hell.
Absolutely.
AJ, man, why do you do this, bro?
There's a chance. I'm not saying it's happening, but there's a chance. You're talking probability and odds. I'm sorry. Did we not watch your Dallas Cowboys be trashed 3 years ago, and then all of a sudden they made a huge jump? There's a chance.
This is what oh my God, this is what people do. First of all, the reasons why a defense is top 10 matter. You don't just become a top 10 defense. You also have to have, I'm sorry, but if your offense goes three and out every damn series, you're not having a top 10 defense. Your defense is going to be on the field the entire time. What?
Yes. I was hoping I'd get picked. But Aaron, they drafted all those linebackers in the draft. What do you mean?
Hey, Troy Anderson. I like Troy Anderson. And I'm not knocking. Like I said, they have good pieces on defense. There's no chance in hell the Atlanta Falcons are a top 10 defense. No chance.
Statistically, there is a chance, like a small percentage. Statistically, there is a small percentage. If you were to gamble If you were to go to the DraftKings Sportsbook, which Calvin Ridley has made quite a few appearances to, you could see that the Atlanta Falcons probably have a small percentage chance.
That's all I'm gonna say. Good luck with that. When you play Tampa twice, when you play Cincinnati, the Chargers, yeah, good luck. Have a nice good luck.
So you're saying this
play NFL teams? Astute observation, sir.
Yeah, great NFL teams with great offenses against a bad defense, and they're going to be top 10. That makes sense. Cool.
Good night.